Hello, Theo here. Today's both a sad and good day, because we're going to be upgrading. We're going to be retiring my old Hitbox to open up and use the Hitbox Ultra. This video is not sponsored by Hitbox. I went and I picked this up on my own, so if it's trash I'll let you know, but I highly doubt that that's going to happen. So it comes in a nice box, nice exterior box. We'll go ahead and get this opened up and then we'll see what's going on inside. Today I'll be using the power of capoeira to open this up. So let's go ahead and get this cut right here. I don't have any knives on me right now. I don't feel like running downstairs, so we're just gonna use the edge of this to try and fight it out. Ugh. It didn't work. Alrighty. Got the side here. Alright. Here we go. The Hitbox Ultra. I'll toss that over there. Look at this. It's in a nice little plastic wrap. We'll go ahead and get this plastic off of here. You know, oh, it actually worked. Look at that. Look. So I can confirm you can sort of use your keychains to open stuff. Also, I got this jank set up. Look at this. So I've got my Frosty Faustings lanyard on, and I'm using it for my lav mic. So if you see this dangling around, that's what it is. All right. Go ahead and get this opened up here. Let's see what we got inside. It's really nicely packaged. It's got like a lot of layers of stuff going on here to protect it, which is giving me some confidence that it's coming in good shape. Alright, I recommend using a real knife when you guys do this. When you go to open up your box, a real knife will probably be a lot better than trying to use a keychain. Alright, there we go. We got there. Oh wow, my lights are reflecting off of the box. Ooh. So the light situation is a problem. We're just gonna have to fix that for the next unboxing, but here it is without the plastic. So we'll go ahead and get this opened up now. It's really thick, like a cardboard that they use for the top part of it here. Let's see here. Okay. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. Oh, there's the bag. Okay. Not quite the moment of truth, I lied to everybody. But it comes with its own drawstring bag, which most new Hitboxes come with. This is just a nice little container. It's like exactly the Hitbox size, so it's not too much bigger than it needs to be. So here we go. We'll try this again. Time for the big reveal. And boom, there it is, baby. Look at that. And a lot more packaging again. I mean, they really wrapped this thing tight. So you can see it comes with its own cable. I believe that this is like a Hitbox exclusive cable. I could be wrong about that, so correct me in the comments if anybody knows, but it's real nice. It's got its own little like elastic tie. I buy these for my own stick, so I have them for all of my wires. It's the first time I've got a stick that just had one with it. So that's super nice. I'll move all this out of the way, get all the clutter out of the way here. There. These are the different spacers and all the different kinds of things that you can use for the different levels. So I haven't talked about the Hitbox buttons too much yet, but I already own a set of Hitbox buttons, and so inside here you can actually pop these off, which I'll show later in the review, to change out the depression that it's at. I don't know what the exact numbers are. I think that these are like 0.3 millimeters. It's the ultra version of it. Then they have the super version of it, which is like less than that, and then they have classic, which I think is like a Sanwa depression rate. Don't quote me on any of that. I just know that it like goes from being like really, really sensitive down to like a regular button press. Also inside this little bag, it looks like they've got a couple of other things. So they have the different depression things. It looks like they've got the combo extension covers, which I'll show how to use these. I'll show you how to use these a little bit later. But essentially, you press down the combo extension, you cover them, because these are a little bit uplifted, so they can catch on things when they're inside a bag. So these are used to protect them. Here, I'll pull one out and see if I can get a better showing of it real fast. You can see right here. So you slide, they're like little covers that you slide over the buttons to protect them, which I'll show off later. Editing Theo here. I completely forgot to show off how to do the protectors over the combo extensions. So it's pretty easy. You take your combo extension protector here. You can see how it kind of like is slotted like this. You take it over the button like so. Let's see here, that's a good angle for it, I think. and you push down on the button and then slide the extender over it. This will just protect it from catching on anything in the bag, because these are kind of raised. You can see it here. They're raised up so they can catch on things. This makes it really easy for you to slide your finger across them to do like links and stuff like this. But it does also make them vulnerable to catching on things. So they have the little guards to prevent that. So inside that bag also, we have the different depression rates, extra little tops for the actual extensions themselves. You have extra cables and things to go ahead and readjust the extensions themselves. And then I think these, because the bottom is magnetic on this, I think these are screws for that. I'm not sure though, I'll have to check that out. Okay, I cleaned up the space because I'm gonna go ahead and pull the stick itself out now. Oh, look at this. A little cleaning rag. And a user guide. Ooh, look at that. We're getting user guide stuff. Look, so you can change the SOCD cleaning modes on here. There you go. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of this. Okay. I'm going to go through a bunch of this when I'm actually reviewing the buttons themselves. But, yeah, look at that. That's nice. I like that. Okay, onto the stick itself. I know that I've been dodging around it this whole time. So it's got little side covers, another layer of plastic to help protect it. Hold on, we're going to struggle with this for a second. The keychain did not work for this. I ended up just biting into it. But got the plastic off. Right here. There it is. The Hitbox Ultra. Some nice. Whoa. It's got a good weight to it. It's like as heavy as the old Hitbox while being much thinner. In fact, hold on, we'll do a size comparison real quick. Now keep in mind, I've modded my Hitbox to hell. This is a much older model. I added like extra buttons here. You can see like where it's spaced out differently here, where I added an extra button for different inputs. I've changed out this. When I say it's an older model, like you can see right there, hopefully you see where the wire used to actually come out here. I added this pass-through. This is like one of the older models. So it's totally different, but the dimensions are the same as it used to be. And this is the same dimensions that they use for the current models of Hitbox. So you can see here the difference in size. Like it is much, much smaller. Like it's maybe a little less than half if I don't include the foam pad on the bottom here, because it does have a full tactile foam pad for slip resistance. So without the slip resistant pad, this is less than half the size. With the slip resistant pad, it's roughly half. I don't know if you guys here, hold on. You guys can kind of see this here. Like the difference is pretty stark, honestly. All right, go ahead and put away old Betsy here. So here's the plan. I've got locals in a couple of minutes. I literally just threw this unboxing video together real quick so that I could take this to locals. There's a bunch of features I want to talk about with this, but I'm actually gonna go test it for a little while and kind of see how it feels, see if it feels much different than playing on the original Hitbox, because I have these buttons already. I have these in the old stick right now. You can see it here. The only thing that's different is that there's an additional extension. But I have the exact same buttons in here that are already built into this. So I already know how the buttons feel, and I can go ahead and show you guys the buttons and give you the full review of them. I kind of want to see how the stick feels. So I'll be back to finish this up later tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, so I just got back from locals. Got a couple hours with the Ultra. I really enjoyed it. We're gonna go through some of the features of the Ultra here in just a second. But overall, I like the stick a lot. The weight is really great. It has basically like the same weight as the regular Hitbox, with it being way more compact. I have an older model of Hitbox, so newer Hitboxes already have this, but there's a foam pad across the entire bottom, so the entire bottom is slip resistant. So it sat on my lap much nicer than my old Hitbox. Again, I have a very old model Hitbox. They've had this non-slip pad on there for I think since like 2020. But it's the first time for me having it. So if you have like an older stick that doesn't have a non-slip pad all the way across the bottom, it was a really nice touch. So let's go back to the stick. I want to show off some features of it, talk a little bit about some things I didn't like about it, and some things I love about it. So first and foremost, I want to readdress the buttons. The buttons are standard hitbox buttons. If you already have some of these, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna go through the buttons themselves. So the advantage of the hitbox buttons is that they are adjustable in just about every way possible. So we showed off those dividers earlier. These guys here, they have different settings. So you can do different types of optimizations for the for what's inside your stick. So you can see here, like this is a 1.5 millimeter, a 0.65 millimeter. The idea is they can change the travel distance of the buttons themselves at any given point to make it so that they are easier, so that the depression rate is further or higher based on what you want to feel. And this is very easy to do, it's very customizable. So you can just, there's little ridges that you can see. Let's see if I can get the focus on there on the camera. There's little ridges on the sides of the buttons themselves. Let's see, like right there. That you can stick a fingernail into, or like a flathead screwdriver. What you do is you basically just twist it counterclockwise, and it lets the pieces come off of the button. So you can see here, this button no longer has a cap on it. And inside is the little divider thing I was talking about. You can kind of see that plastic ring that's right there. This is the button itself, which is a micro switch, by the way. And these are keyboard switches. You can change them out, but they're just standard switches. I don't really think that there's anything you need to do with that, because the dividers also do silencing and a few other things for it. But you can see right there that you can actually pull this plastic piece out. I need to get a pair of pliers for that. Hold on one second. Okay, so I just grabbed a nail I had laying around because I'm doing hanging some new stuff in the office you guys will see soon. You basically just need to scoop it out. It's not really in there, it's just kind of tension set. Boop, and it comes right out. And that changes the depression rate of the button, like how far it'll press. So super easy to do. You just slide it right back in. You have to make sure you align it right. There's a little there's an arrow here. You can kind of see it. It might not come up on the camera very good, but on the plastic itself it has a little arrow. That shows you kind of like where you should be lining it up. And then once you have it in there, once you have it back in there, you literally just pop the cap just here. It's like the button they're actually pushing back in, and then the ring, you just lock back in place. And it can only really go in one way, so like you just have to spin it around so you figure out where it's at, and then you just twist it back tight and boom, you have your button. Now all hitbox buttons are customizable like this. You can't change the extension. The extension just has the one setting because it is like a laptop switch, so there's nothing really to change. However, I don't think it's really necessary, especially since it's not a main button that you're gonna be using, you're just using it for extra stuff. But that's what the buttons are. So all Hitbox Ultras come standard with a full complement of Hitbox buttons that are fully customizable. I believe that right now they only come with the crystal, which is cool to me because you can actually take the cap off and put art in there if you want to, which is pretty easy to do too. I can go over that in another video if you guys are interested in that, but that's what the buttons are. So some of the other features that the Ultra has that's unique from the original Hitbox and from most other sticks is actually that it has a magnetic bottom. Now the reason it has this magnetic bottom is, you know, easy switching buttons, but you'll see here there's the 3 extensions, right? So you have your, oh, let me get this in frame. So you have your 3 extensions, but you can actually easy swap them. So they made this little like motherboard circuit board thing where you can actually grab the base of the wire, unplug it at any given moment, and plug it into another thing. So like right now it's set to R3, L3, and touchpad. But you can actually change it to be like the top row here is your direction. So like up, down, left, right. You've got like L2, R2, basically making it so that you can change the inputs of these on the fly at any point by just yanking this out and putting it in a different spot. So all you have to do is grab the base of the wire, pull up on the little switch. That was my L3. That was attached to one of my buttons, one of my extensions. And then I can move it over here to, let's say, left. So I'm gonna move that button from L3 to left. Then you just push it down and in. Boop. And now I have a new left button. So now this extension here, this extension will give me a left. really easy, really simple, and because it's magnetic, you can do it kind of on the fly during a tournament. So like, let's say you're playing multiple games and like one of them, like Tekken for example, I use this button to do Korean backdashes easily on the right side, but I don't need that in other games. So I can then take this button and turn it into like a drive rush or something else, or just, I say drive rush, I can turn it back into L3 to use for drive rush. So yeah, and then the back just snaps right back in place with magnets. Now, I did check. You can screw this in if you want. That's what those screws that were in the bag. There is like spots here on the very back here. You can kind of see it right there. You can pop these out and screw this in. If you don't want to deal with any of that and you just want to leave everything mounted as it is and you don't want to deal with the magnetic back, you can do that. Now let's talk about the top of the stick. So they have their own custom buttons for your like start, touchpad, stuff like that. This is probably my least favorite part of the stick, if I'm being honest. They're not bad. They're just kind of hollow sounding. They're a little bit wiggly-ish right here, which also not necessarily a bad thing. It's not my favorite, at least for feeling. For form factor, the way that it looks and the way that it sits in the bag, these buttons don't catch on anything. They're very easy to slide across, which I think was probably the design choice because it makes it easy to store in a bag. That's partially why they also inset the like connecting cable port, because the older Hitboxes, this used to stick out. So this is now inset, so it won't catch on anything. Same with these buttons. That's probably why they're designed the way that they are, which makes perfect sense. I just don't necessarily like how they feel. But the design makes sense to me. This is your tournament lockout switch, which is really nice to have. The older Hitboxes didn't have any sort of lockout switch, so you just flip it and then boom, all this gets turned off, which is great. A quick disclaimer that I found out the hard way tonight. It's on the plastic bag that this was in. It's right there. It's right there. There can be some input latency with the remotes that are native to PS5. And so when you go to play on PS5 with this remote, you want to make sure that you turn on the USB connection mode. They have little instructions right here for it, as I was showing just a minute ago. It'll be on the front of yours if you pick one up. It will help with input latency on certain games. So I had some weird experiences tonight while I was playing that I had input latency on Tekken 8 until I turned that mode on, which is like the traditional tournament mode. Like that's what your PS5 should be set to if you're doing events and things like that. But some of them are set to Bluetooth mode, and that can interfere a little bit with how the input latency is on this. Before I do the button sound check, I just wanted to talk about this cable. So I was using the cable tonight. This might be the best cable I've ever used. This cord is like really flexible and nice and comfortable. Like it almost doesn't have any bends in it, and I just like opened it up. This like knob like tie thing, super nice. And I basically always use USB or USB-B cables. Having this lock into the stick was really nice. It like felt very firm, very comfortable. It was easy to put in because of the way it lines up. I really like this cable. I really like this cable. And now for an audio test for the buttons. Some other important side notes about the Ultra. It's compatible with PS5, Xbox, PC, and Switch. It also has the hot swappable SOCD changing thing, where like when you plug it in, you hold a direction and it changes the SOCD cleaning. That's really useful in tournaments because, again, just like with the extensions, being able to unplug and change your buttons, being able to change your SOCD for different games is really useful in a lot of different ways. So that's also another really big like advantage to this new Hitbox. I'm really happy with my purchase here. It's a great upgrade to what I already had. It's significantly more portable, has better tech in it, lets me be able to do what I like to do with sticks, but easier. And because it's still a traditional fight stick and not a like motherboard with like things soldered into it, I can actually still customize the stick. Like I can add a strap to it. I could change the buttons for something else if I wanted to have a different set of buttons in there. Like it's everything I want in a traditional fight stick without being something like this that's super portable. Without being something thin and super portable like this. It has both the weight and heft of a traditional fight stick with the customizability, but also is extremely thin and very high quality. It feels very premium. And I think that that's maybe the biggest takeaway that I have for this, is that this is a quality product. It is on the expensive side at $300, but I think it's more than worth buying it just because of the customer service that you're going to get behind it and the quality control that you're going to get behind it. But I can say that this stick is not for everyone. Again, if you want something hyper portable, you're looking at your Emperor's Nano, you're looking at your Hot 42s, you're looking at like the snack boxes and things like that. Like this still isn't, like it's much more portable than the original Hitbox, but it still isn't this like super hyper portable thing that has come out in the last few years. This is definitely something for a person who wants a stick that's a little bit larger, that really fits in your lap because it has the same lap feel as the original Hitbox or as like a traditional fight stick would have. So consider your purchase wisely. I can highly recommend this stick because it's something that I want. I want a full stick that I can set on my lap, that has good weight to it, and that is customizable. But that might not be for you. You should assess what it is that you're looking for. I can say that because of the combo extension buttons, you can essentially turn any stick into a Hitbox style stick with extra buttons now. So maybe you don't want the Hitbox itself, but you can buy the buttons separately and still create something very similar to this without investing in a whole new stick. So it kind of comes down to what you're looking for. I needed a new stick. I've been having some disconnection problems with my old Hitbox that I've basically gutted and done a bunch of stuff to, and I like the form factor of this new Ultra. And by all accounts, I think it's excellent. Not a big fan of the start select buttons, but I also understand why they use them that way. So take that with a grain of salt. You're not going to be pushing those buttons very much anyways. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you got an Ultra and you love it or hate it, feel free to let me know. And as always, get out there and support your locals or come support mine.